What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Saved by the Code, where I discuss technologies rooted in computer code with the ability to save us from the corrupt fiat money regime. My name is Perry, and let's go. Well. The SEC, the Criminal Corrupt Securities and Exchange Commission that vows to protect investors from fraudulent activity is at it again. They have sued Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, and Coinbase. They've filed lawsuits against them stating that they are selling unregistered securities. Binance is being hit with a number of charges, 13, I believe, and Coinbase is being hit with quite a few as well. And it's just another move by them to protect their precious fiat money regime, the US dollar. And because they're doing all of this, because crypto threatens the US dollar's dominance in this world, and they all make their money through fraudulent activities with the US dollar, so they must fight back against cryptocurrencies, which threatens their precious money. And that's exactly what's going on here. They have no interest in protecting any investor whatsoever. They have interest in protecting themselves and their precious banks and their precious banking friends. Before I get into all this, I just want to state that there is no clear regulation provided by the SEC for the crypto industry at all. So there are no rules to be followed whatsoever. And so they are literally attacking these exchanges, stating that they're violating these rules that do not even exist. It is so pathetically insane and just obvious what they're doing. The Binance lawsuit, like I said, has way more charges than the Coinbase one. They're stating that they're commingling customer funds, selling unregistered securities, all this insane nonsense. And I honestly believe Binance, they've come out and said that none of this is true. It's literally all made up crap. And another thing is that when they claim that they're selling these unregistered securities, the SEC cannot even define what a security is when it comes to crypto. They are relying on laws that were created in the 30s, the 1930s, and they haven't been updated since. And I mean, it's just so insane, mind-boggling. I mean, there's so many words I could use here, but the SEC is just on an absolute rampage, and they're trying to establish this narrative that crypto is this criminal thing. And they're also, what they're accomplishing here is driving innovation out of the United States. Operations are just up and leaving, and because they're just like, why would we stay here? Coinbase is standing its ground. They've literally stated that we are going to fight this to the end because the SEC is a bunch of corrupt criminals. And it's just so, the double standard that we live amongst today is, once again, so mind-boggling. The amount of illegal activity that banks participate in daily, since their inception really, is, once again, mind-boggling. The human brain that understands this stuff can't even process it because it's so irrational and hypocritical. There's just so many things that are wrong here. The SEC is a criminal organization, along with every other government organization, the IRS, the FDA, and whatever 3 or 4 letter, the CFTC. They're all criminal organizations trying to protect their precious US dollar. That's all they care about. They do not care about you. They don't care about anyone but themselves and their precious, precious money. And actions like this just make it so blatantly obvious. And they stand behind the guise that they're trying to protect the average investor. When, I mean, if you ask me, crypto makes people money. And you're damaging people's ability, and it empowers the individual as well. You're damaging people's ability to take full control of their money and do with it what they please. This whole thing protecting investors is so many things I could say there, but you get the idea. It's fraudulent, it's criminal, it's disgusting, and time again we get reminded is how miserable and disgusting the government is, and how anything they touch just gets destroyed. And they're doing that now. So, like I said, they're stating that Binance and Coinbase are selling unregistered securities. The good thing here, though, is that Bitcoin isn't categorized as a security. They've stated that. So you're safe there, apparently, but pretty much every other cryptocurrency they're stating is a security, an illegally operating scheme, security, whatever you want to call it, when in reality they are an illegally operating entity, driving innovation away from the United States, stifling innovation, destroying businesses, and just making people's lives miserable. Like they do every single day, every single thing they do makes people's lives miserable. So, yeah, apparently they're saying, let's see here. Originally, the Coinbase lawsuit. It says here, the first read, Coinbase shows a much lighter case, very unlikely to become more eventful, while the Binance case is facing odds of facing the Department of Justice, and criminal charges are way higher. So the Binance case is way more severe than the Coinbase case, apparently. However, they're quite similar with regards to stating that they are selling unregistered securities to unknowing investors. And another insane thing in this whole all this craziness is that the largest regulatory bodies, the CFTC and the SEC, cannot even agree upon whether or not cryptocurrencies are securities. You can't make this stuff up. It is an absolute joke. We live in a cartoon. This is more of a joke than a Simpsons episode. I mean, it's so pathetically ridiculous. I don't even know what more to say. They did this 2-day, they sued Binance on Monday, and then they sued Coinbase on Tuesday. Just 2 in a row. So they're just trying to set this precedent that we're in charge here, and we will do whatever we want, and we're going to do all this stuff and protect investors and all this total nonsense. They want to protect their US dollar, their precious money, their banks, because they know that the US dollar is failing. It is losing dominance. It's out. It's done. It's at the end of the road. And they need to do everything they can to protect it and to destroy anything that challenges it. And cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, is the main challenger of all this. And so they'll do whatever they can. They can do whatever they want. They're the government. They don't abide by any laws. They don't abide by any constitution at all. The Constitution doesn't exist. Laws don't exist to them. They do whatever they please. And unfortunately, they win most of the time. Let's just hope our wonderful legal system that is just so amazing and transparent, and that's just another wonderful system, prevails here and can just provide some actual, serve the people for once. I don't see cryptocurrency being banned. They're just going to make it as difficult as possible for people to hold cryptocurrencies, and it's just so pathetic. I mean, every other country in the world is providing clear regulatory. They're providing clear regulations. They're providing clear laws. This is how it is. This is how what crypto is. This is how it's defined. This is what you can do if you're a business here. Europe, pretty much everywhere in the world, except for the United States, because they're just a grumpy little stubborn child in the corner stamping its feet because we want our US dollar. We want to dominate the world. We want to be able to do what we want. And whenever they see it slipping away from them, they do this kind of stuff. It's just horrible. You can't have nice things anymore in the United States. This country is so far from what it used to be. It is destroying businesses. It used to be the land of opportunity and freedom and come here and everything's great and wonderful. Now it is the land of control, of lawlessness, of there's just no values here anymore. And this is a clear example of that. If we lived in a country where there were fair rules like there used to be, and regulators actually did their job, as opposed to just come and attack businesses, anything that challenges their precious institutions, this place could be so incredible. It could be so unstoppably incredible. But that is the complete opposite of what it is anymore. Like I stated, Bitcoin is the shining star here. I still believe in a lot of other crypto projects, but unfortunately, the facts are that the government is attacking every other cryptocurrency. And I mean, this goes to show you how truly decentralized and resilient Bitcoin is, even in all this insanity. They can't even state it's a security. They don't even know what it is. They're scared of it. However, they cannot ban it. They can't state it's a security because it's so clearly not. Like, how do you label something as decentralized and something that there is no creator for, we don't even know who created it, as a security? You can't. You literally can't. As much as you try to apply your outdated laws to it, they can't. The reason they're doing this to every other crypto is because there are companies behind them. There are offices they can attack. There are people they can attack. There's nothing to attack with Bitcoin. And so that just really speaks volumes to me. And it always has. I mean, I've always known that Bitcoin is the only true decentralized cryptocurrency. Like I said, none of my opinions have changed about any other crypto project. Like, I'm into Cardano, I'm into Ethereum, a lot of other cryptocurrencies. However, just with this insanity, even amongst it, it goes to show who the true shining star is, and it is why I am such an advocate. One of the many reasons why I'm such a huge advocate for Bitcoin. And all roads lead to Bitcoin in the end. It's just, they really do. And when things like this happen, it just makes you question, what is the real cryptocurrency here? At least in my mind, that's what I state. It says here in this article, it says Coinbase, America's largest cryptocurrency exchange, is sued by the SEC for securities violations. Meanwhile, all these banks are still operating illegally, doing so many illegal things. Same with, the SEC does illegal things. They can't sue themselves, I guess. The IRS, I could go on. So many illegal things happen every day, but they're not being sued. They're not being pursued. They're allowed to operate and rob you blindly and tax you without representation. All that good stuff. It says here, Coinbase, one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges, have been charged by the Securities and Exchange Commission for operating as an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. The SEC has also accused Coinbase of failing to register its crypto asset staking as a service program. It's so disgusting. And the crazy thing is that Coinbase has tried so many times to be compliant. So many times. Coinbase has publicly traded stock on the NASDAQ. The SEC allowed that. They said, okay, you can have your stock on the NASDAQ, but Oh, all of a sudden they're registering, they're operating an unregistered securities exchange, and so we're gonna just sue you instead of for roles that don't even exist. I know it makes no sense, but what makes sense in today ever? Does anything ever? Especially when it comes to government. Nothing. Nothing makes sense. How any human even keeps their sanity in this world is just, I commend you. Because I can barely keep mine. So yeah, SEC is just on a rampage, and like I said, it's the Coinbase has tried to be compliant so many times. They've tried to register with the SEC, but you can't. In typical government agency fashion, they just lie, they deceive, they cheat, and this is a perfect example of that. It says here, the CEO of Coin, they're gonna fight to the end. They've stated they're just like, we're not backing down. Like, are you kidding me? Says here the CEO, Brian Armstrong, he's the CEO of Coinbase. He thinks the SEC rules are unclear and that the courts need to make rulings to clarify them. Yes, they do. And this has been being tried to happen. They've been trying to do this for years, and they just refuse. And the SEC says there's rules when there literally aren't rules. There's no rules. There are no regulations to even follow. And they do this by design so that they can do stuff like this. Because if there were rules to follow, a bunch of companies would be following them. And they'd be able to operate. And they wouldn't be able to be sued. This is why the SEC does this. So that they can do horrible things like this. Make people's lives miserable. This is their business model. This is what the government does. Make people's lives miserable. Take their money. Deceive, lie, cheat, control. It's their business model. That's how they make money. Let's see here. Brian Armstrong seen stated in a tweet that the team is confident in our facts and the law, and that it welcomes the chance to finally get some clarity around crypto rules in court. They're hoping that all this ends up in some clear regulations for the crypto industry. And just terrible, just horrible. Another terrible thing that the government does. And it says here, he claimed that the U.S. government can't even agree with itself as to which cryptocurrency securities. Like I mentioned earlier, the CFTC and the SEC cannot even agree as to what is a security, if crypto is one or it's not one. The SEC says it is a security. CFTC says it isn't. Does that surprise you? No, we live in the con world where, woo, yeah, woo, just like the most. It's how do you function in this world? It's horrible. Like I said, meanwhile, banks are just operating illegally, money laundering, tax evasion. They do so many horrible things every single day. But they're allowed to because they're banks. And you better believe that the SEC has friends with the banks. They're friends with the banks. They're friends with the Fed. I mean, look at what the U.S. government does when it runs out of money. Just raise the debt ceiling. Just raise the ceiling. Just raise it. We're already $32 trillion in debt. Why not get a few more trillion? Raise the ceiling. And then they wait. They wait till like the last day to cause all this drama. Oh, they might not raise the ceiling. Oh, who knows? Whoa, what's going to happen? Everyone knew that they were going to raise the ceiling. They just pull that crap to scare people. And oh, it's so disgusting. I can't even. You can't let it affect you, though. I mean, it's so hard not to let it affect you, though, because it directly affects you. Directly affects everyone. How do you not let something affect you that directly affects you? I don't. It's so. I commend those that can. I barely can. So yeah. SEC's just on a rampage. Just suing everyone. We're gonna sue you. Sue. Because we can. Because we're the We're the government. We can just do whatever we want. Here's a story here. The SEC chair, Gary Gensler, the guy that's behind all this craziness. Look at this. Oh, I could say so many things. Never mind. Stop it, Perry. He says that we don't need cryptocurrency. We don't need more digital currency, says the great Gary Gensler. And he says, we already have it. We got the US dollar, we got the Chinese yen, we got all these digital currencies. Why do we need Bitcoin? Why do we need cryptocurrency? He's banking on the fact that many people don't understand why cryptocurrencies are so important, why Bitcoin is so important. I could say many things there. I mean, it's so clear why we need Bitcoin. Just look around you. The printing of trillions of dollars, which devalues your currency, which makes groceries more expensive, which makes gas more expensive. The ability for banks to commit fraud because they don't operate on a public decentralized ledger. That's what blockchains are great at, preventing fraudulent activity. And Bitcoin does that greatly, which is why it is used in criminal activity, but criminals use cash because it's so much more difficult to trace. Tracing Bitcoin is so much easier. It's right there on a blockchain. You know, you could see where all the money's going, where it came from, where it originated from. And it also empowers the individual. You know, when you put your money in a bank, it's not yours anymore. When you own Bitcoin, you truly own it. I could say a lot more things there, but he's just banking on the fact that most people think that Bitcoin is just another digital currency. It's just another one, the same as the US dollar. It's the same thing. We don't need another one. What the heck? You know, just so pathetic. It's laughable. And yeah, he's just another puppet in the fiat money regime. Just another one. Just wanting to protect the failing US dollar. And he's very scared of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But like I said, they've stated that Bitcoin is not a security. So it's in a league of its own. And because they literally can't. Because how do you state something that doesn't have a creator and is just computer money? How do you say that's a security? Apparently the definition of a security is something that promises profits. It promises that you'll make money. And so you're not allowed to sell that without registering with the SEC, which, like I've mentioned, Coinbase has tried to do numerous times, but they can't because the SEC doesn't let them. All right, enough of that nonsense. What a wonderful world we live in. This story here says that Bitcoin is on the path to becoming the money of the future. So this article just goes over Bitcoin's progression over the years and how it shows that, it says here, 10 years ago, only a small niche community was interested in Bitcoin. Now it is estimated that 425 million people across the world own cryptocurrencies. That's a 39% growth since 2022. Sustainable Bitcoin mining is shifting the narrative. So the mining industry has expanded. It's the expansion of it is just mind-blowing. If you look at a chart, it's just going parabolic. It's going straight up, and it continues to grow. I have another story here where there is a company that just purchased 12,500 miners, and it's just so great. I love seeing this in light of all the ridiculous New York Times articles that say we need to stop Bitcoin mining. Oh my God, it's destroying the world, and all these massive Bitcoin operations are popping up. It's so great. Love it. But yeah, it just says here that Bitcoin mining is expanding, as well as the move towards renewable and sustainable Bitcoin mining has been increasing. In fact, the majority of Bitcoin mining is done with renewable energy, contrary to what you'll read in your ridiculously dishonest and live a New York Times article. They fail to mention that. Oh, whoops, forgot that little detail. My bad. And miners will continue to get more efficient over time, as they already are. They are much more efficient than they were even a couple years ago, so they can mine more Bitcoin with less electricity. Um, and they see more countries moving towards and corporations investing in Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin is on the path to global dominance. I mean, the progression of it is, right now it may not seem like it, but you better believe that Bitcoin is, it couldn't be, the growth of it couldn't be better, honestly. The expansion of the mining industry, the fact that everyone knows what it is at this point, isn't aware of it, and also the financial environment that we're all forced to live in couldn't be worse, so it couldn't be better for Bitcoin. So yeah, just talks about all those factors that are leading to Bitcoin's global dominance. And another story here from El Salvador. Speaking of El Salvador, it is apparently using volcano energy, or it is building out the infrastructure to harness volcano energy to mine Bitcoin. They love Bitcoin down there. It's legal tender there. You have to accept it if you're a business. And they apparently secured a $250 million investment here, but they're seeking for $1 billion, and they're going to use solar energy, hydropower, wind energy, as well as volcano energy to mine Bitcoin. Yeah, so, I mean, it's just incredible. This real world stuff happening like this just illustrates how unstoppable Bitcoin is, and that it is on the path to global dominance. It's unstoppable. Like, it's just so clear with things like this. And this story here, another one, just 12,500 miners. That's a $40 million. That's $40 million worth of mining equipment there. Massive investment. Huge. I mean, that's a huge operation. And that's not even like the biggest one. Like, there are ones that are way bigger than that. Says here the company CleanSpark, which is the one that purchased all these miners, reported that it has been taking advantage of discounted machine purchases. In February, they acquired 20,000 miners, followed by a purchase of 45,000 miners in April, and now they just bought another 12,500. Bitcoin ain't going anywhere, folks. It is here to stay, and it is mining away. So beautiful to see. Love it. I mean, it's just inevitable in my mind that Bitcoin will go to six figures. I mean, with things like this, how doesn't it? It's being suppressed by all this ridiculous nonsense coming from our wonderful government and SEC that wants to protect us all. They love us. They want to protect us. Thank you for the SEC. If they did not exist, I don't know what I'd do. I'd just be lost in this world and would just be like, who's here to protect me? What am I going to do with my money? It's just going to be taken from me if the SEC doesn't protect me. Oh, it's so pathetic. Where are they whenever all the banks collapse, or when the banks are committing fraud and destroying people's lives and all the rest of it? Oh, they're allowed to, though, because they're banks. It's okay. Next story here. Oh, our wonderful Senator Elizabeth Warren. What a great lady. I actually do. She does talk down on banks. So, all right, Lizzie. That's pretty cool. But other than that, never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Says here that crypto is helping fund the fentanyl trade, says Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I'm sure if it wasn't for crypto, fentanyl would just be gone. It just wouldn't be a thing. You know, they'd just be like, how do we buy fentanyl? I mean, I can't because crypto's not here. It's just such a blatant lie. I'm sure crypto is being used in some way, a certain percentage of it. However, you better believe that the king of all of this illegal fentanyl and illegal drug trafficking is cash, is money, is the US dollar. It is. She's trying to scare people. She is a puppet, another puppet in the fiat money regime, just along with her buddy Gary Gensler. She's just trying to scare people. And unfortunately, people listen to these people. They'll be like, oh my God, crypto's used for fentanyl. We need to outlaw it. Oh my God. But it's okay that the US dollar is used for the majority of illegal, not just drug trade, but illegal activity. It's used for the majority of it. Actually, just fiat currency in general, because it's so much more difficult to trace. Why would you use Bitcoin when you can trace everything? You can see everything. Law enforcement loves Bitcoin. They do. I covered that in a previous video. They literally said it. They were like, yeah, Bitcoin's great. We can see where all the money is. And it's so easy to catch people. So this is just another lie coming from another puppet of the fiat money regime stating that crypto, oh, it's the only thing used for fentanyl. Oh, it's killing people. Oh, so crypto's killing people. That's what she's trying to implant in people's brains, is that crypto is killing people. And you better believe her only interest is in protecting the precious fiat money regime. Another one. Another wonderful senator that has your best interest in mind. She cares about you. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and deny that crypto isn't used for illegal activity. It is, for sure. But not nearly to the degree that cash is, that the US dollar is. It is the absolute king of illegal activity. Just another move to try to scare people away from crypto and implant in their brains that it's bad, we need to ban it, we need to get rid of it. Oh, God. Such an absolute joke. I just wish people would do a little more research and look into things more, because unfortunately most people won't. They will just see this and be like, oh, crypto. Like I've stated many times in my videos, our friend Wanda with her Facebook and Instagram degree and New York Times degree is going to go down the street and say, you know, Linda, crypto's used for fentanyl. No, we gotta ban it. We gotta get rid of it. Oh, geez. Crypto. Oh, no. Bitcoin. Killing people with fentanyl. Meanwhile, the dollars in her wallet are killing more people than she can even fathom. All right. Next story here. Our buddy Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager on the planet, with over, I think it's $10 trillion in assets that he manages. Not just him, but his company, BlackRock. They actually like Bitcoin and crypto too. But he's saying that we're screwed. The US dollar is done. The US is jeopardizing the dominance of the US dollar. And, this is at the core of why all this craziness is happening against crypto, why all this regulatory crackdown is happening against crypto, because of things like this. Because the US dollar is losing its reserve currency status. It is being threatened by other countries as well as cryptocurrency. The SEC can't attack the Chinese yuan or yen or whatever it is over there, the Russian ruble. They can't be like, hey, we're going to sue you. You can't do that. So they just sue crypto companies. That's the next best thing. So even this guy, biggest asset manager on the planet, is like, hey, yo, the US dollar's getting jeopardized by the United States itself. It's so ridiculous. The US is destroying its own currency. It's so pathetic. But what did you expect when you live in the clown world? Not the first world, folks. The clown world. Welcome to the US. Nothing makes sense. What do you know? Down is up and up is down. Woo! Now, give me some money. It's so horrible. What has happened? Seriously, what has happened to this country? It could be so incredible. All right, I'll stop. Enough of that. We're now going on to the best segment of the video, the Babylon Bee segment, the greatest source of truth in the world. And so we got a story coming out from the Babylon Bee here. The Pentagon is struggling to explain all 437 Earth genders to aliens, apparently. It says here, interstellar peace talks broke down Wednesday after the Pentagon officials were unable to adequately explain the intricacies of all 437 Earth genders to the aliens from outer space. Quote, okay, for the last time, said Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. During the third hour of talks with the extraterrestrials, demigender are people who identify partially with one gender at the same time as another. This is totally different from bigender, which is when a person identifies as two genders and can switch between them. Do you understand now? Yeah, so I mean, it's not confusing to me at all. It says here, quote, this isn't at all confusing. The aliens apparently spoke via telepathy, communicating easily without the hindrance of language barriers. Yet we're still unable to understand why their human counterparts kept derailing talks about joining an alliance of free planets to argue that sex and gender are two different things, or even that a developmental condition such as autism can be a gender. So, yeah, apparently this is going down at the Pentagon. We're trying to explain all the genders to aliens, and they just can't get it. They don't compute. And just wanted to cover that developing story from the Babylon Bee, the greatest source of truth on the planet. This was funny. Newsom gets revenge on DeSantis by continuing to send thousands of Californians to Florida. Oh gosh, that is too funny. You gotta laugh. At least try to laugh in these crazy times. Alright folks, that does it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two. If you did enjoy, give me a like, give me a subscribe. And I hope you're all doing well out there. And until next time, I bid you farewell on your cryptocurrency.